My name is Malek from Knack Training, and today's Everyday Office video is about VLOOKUP, and specifically about using VLOOKUP to find a position in a range. So typically, when I explain the VLOOKUP function, I'm using a false entry in the last entry for that VLOOKUP function, telling it to find only exact matches. However, if you leave that spot empty, it allows you to find the position of an item within a range that's been sorted in ascending order. Notice over here on the right-hand side, I've made myself a little table that illustrates the fact that you have to cross over the $250,000 mark in order to be considered a silver customer. And you have to cross over the $500,000 mark to be considered a gold customer. Now, what we want is a lookup function that will take the $495,000 in the table on the left and compare it against the table on the right and say, well, we haven't quite crossed the $500,000 mark, so we must still be a silver customer. And that is exactly what VLOOKUP is intended to do when we leave the last entry empty. Let's take a look at it. If we go to cell C5, go to the Formulas tab at the top of the screen, click on Lookup and Reference, and choose VLOOKUP, this last entry here. You'll see that it asks you 4 questions, but that the 4th question is not bolded. That means that we can leave this empty, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing in this exercise. The lookup value is the $495,000 that I have here on the left, and the table array is in cells F4 through G7 there. Now, real quickly here, I do want to make sure that the table that we're looking at for the table array is always locked in. And so I'm going to use a keyboard shortcut here, the F4 key on the keyboard, which will put in $ in front of the F, the 4, the G, and the 7. And that makes sure that the reference to that table never slides off of those cells. Then I go to my column index number. Now, once it finds that $495,000 is in the 250 to 500 range, I then want it to go one column over to the right and tell me that I'm a silver customer. So that is column index number 2. Now notice here, if I click on the range lookup field, it tells me that leaving the value omitted is the same thing as marking the word true in this field, and that will find me the closest match sorted in ascending order. So when I click OK, I'm leaving this empty. I find that this makes this person a silver customer, this company a silver customer. That $200,000 makes somebody a standard customer. That $760,000 makes somebody a gold customer. But remember what we talked about a moment ago. This has to be sorted in ascending order. If I click onto this data and use my data tab at the top of the screen and sort it in Z to A order instead of A to Z order, notice that all the lookups over here on the left-hand side of my screen get completely messed up. So instead, what I'm doing is clicking somewhere in this column of numbers and making sure they're sorted in ascending order, so that 0 is at the top and 1,000,000 is at the bottom. And that makes sure that it knows, okay, well, we crossed over the 0, but we don't cross the 250, or we crossed the 250, but we don't cross the $500,000 mark. Notice if I sort it the other direction, well, if it can't get across $1 million, then nothing counts, right? So at that point, there are a lot of things that won't even penetrate this because it never crosses over the million mark, which is the top option in this list. So I sort A to Z, and everything works swimmingly. And that is the standard way VLOOKUP's been working for years and years.